Class is in memory of Jared Orchen, and today we learned the Haftorah of Parshat Shelach. Before we learn the Haftorah of Parshat Shelach, we have to recap the story of the Parsha, of the 12 spies that Moses sent. Why Moses sent spies?
The people.
They asked to go.
Oh, in the Parsha it's written, just the Torah starts, Shelach lecha meragli, sent spies. It looks like God ordered to send spies. Vaydaber Hashem, how is the language exactly? Yeah, I think. Hashem said to Moses, send for yourself spies. You think? God told them to. When you look in Deuteronomy, Moses repeats the story. He says, you came to me, and you told me we should send spies. The Jews wanted the spies. Moses sent spies. No, fine, you sent spies. Meragli. What is the job for what do you do if you want to send spies? How you send them? How many you sent?
One or two. One,
One, two.
Right.
What Moses did?
12.
12. A whole delegation. What is this, a federation mission? 12 spies?
Didn't want to offend
A big secret. And the leaders of every tribe. 600,000 Jews knew about the spies, sending the secret of sending the spies. Can just imagine that the news spread a little further. 3 Jews know something everybody knows. Can you imagine the whole nation? They come to Israel. They walked in. They toured the land for 40 days. What was that? That was, some commentators say it was he dressed it up as a tourist tour, and meanwhile they should spy the land. People are not stupid. When you see 12 leaders come to see the land, why did they come to see the land? Because you know that the Jews planned to conquer the land. That wasn't a secret. The Jews left Egypt with the agenda to go to the land of Canaan.
That's what they thought when the brothers came into Egypt, right? Joseph accused them of being spies.
Yeah, the 10 brothers came to Egypt, and Joseph accused them of spies. Meragli matem, the same word. And Egypt is a little bigger than Israel. And the 10, according to the Medrash, came from 10 different gates, but even they came from the same gate. Then what do you think is that? First of all, that's that they were not arrested or caught, these 12 guys. It's already a miracle. Then the Medrash, as Rashi says, that there was a lot of death going on in Israel that 40 days, that the people were busy with their dead and not busy with the spies. But the truth is, the Rebbe once spoke about it, and he says, this sending mission that Moses was sending was not to spy the land. Moses knew it's a good land. Moses knew that God is going to conquer, make miracles to conquer the land. It doesn't make a difference if they know the ins and outs of the country or not. Moses sent the mission for one purpose, for inside purposes, to convince the Jews to go to Israel. He said, I will send a delegation, they'll go to Israel, they'll get excited about Israel, they'll come back to Cleveland and convince everybody making Aliyah. It was birthright. The first version that he told, he said, if the leaders will go, the leaders have the most influence, they will see the land. They'll come back, they'll tell, oh, the land, I was at the Kotel, it was so beautiful. And everybody wanted to go. That was the goal of the mission. They went, and Moses told them, go find out what's going on and where and what, all the details, bring some food. Right? They came back, but they left. They were already had an agenda. They didn't want to go to the land of Israel. They just went to look why it's not good. Now the same thing, what happened? Moses told them, bring the food. The food was very big at that time. Moses said, look what beautiful food there is in Israel. What an amazing land. They took the same thing and turned it upside down. What they said, the food, as big as the food is, that's how big the people are. That's how large the people are. You know, the same reason could be turned around upside down. God says in the beginning, I discovered that man, when God created the world, that the heart of man is bad, therefore I want to destroy the world. Then God said, I discovered that man is bad, therefore I'll forgive him. God says the Jewish people are a stiff-necked nation, therefore I want to destroy them. Moses said they are a stiff-necked nation, therefore forgive them. That's what you do with it. The facts are the same facts. That's how you twist it. That Moses said, bring the fruit and you show them what a beautiful land. They took it and turned it upside down. The worst problem with them, they came and they draw the wrong conclusion. That's not, they would just say, yeah, we saw big people and large people and the cities are fortified and they'll be very, bring facts. Your job was not to tell me what is going to happen. Therefore, the moment they said therefore, that was the problem. It was a complete, total failure. The Jewish people, they came back from the tour on Tisha B'Av. The Jewish people cried. And God says, guys, you don't want to go. It's called in Yiddish, Moichel Toivas. You ever heard the expression Moichel Toivas? I forgive your favor. Forgive your favor. Now somebody wants to do your favors, doing your whole thing is doing do your favor. Tell them, I don't need your favors. Then the idea, God says, you'll stay in the desert. And I will raise a generation who will love the land and will want to go to the land, and they will go to the land. What was the reaction of the Jews?
Scared.
Did some of them want to go anyway?
The moment they hear that they cannot go, suddenly reverse
Back to
psychology. You tell a child, don't do it. He will do it. My grandfather told me, in Russia, he raised his kids. The only kind of underground organized movement was Chabad. My grandfather was not Chabad. But he told me, I knew about his boys, that if Chabad is the only place to survive. Then he used to talk to him, and they were stubbornly born, like he used to tell him, Chabad is not good. He told me every time I told him that, he said, no, Chabad is good, you're going there. And that's exactly what he wanted to accomplish. He wanted to instigate them that they should do Haftorah to him, they should prove him that he is wrong, and they will go, we are not listening to you, they should rebel against them by going to Chabad. So that's exactly what they want. The same thing is with God. The Jewish people, he tells, you don't want to go to the land, fine, don't go. No, we want to go. I said, that's too late. Sometimes it's too late. That was the story, the spies, and they end up to be another 39 years in the desert.
Yeah, but also Moses was complicit because God did not allow him to go in.
That's not because of this.
Well, it was one reason, though.
That's not what God says. Moses feels that because the Jews didn't enter, God told them, you stay with your generation. Not because Moses was wrong. Not because Moses did something bad. Because if his generation is in the desert, he should stay with them. But officially, God's reason always is because he hit the rock.
Is there some connection, because you talked about the spies and the brothers in Egypt, Joseph's brothers, and the reason they didn't want to come into the land is because they wanted to stay back and just continue with God and study and have a better life, maybe?
Yeah, there is. I think there is in Kabbalah that the 10 tribes of Joseph, the 10 brothers of Joseph, and the 10 spies are a reincarnation or something like this. Yeah, there is a connection. Absolutely. It's interesting. The reason for Armenian we learn from the 10 spies and from the 10 brothers of Joseph. Obviously, there is a connection. Then comes Joshua. He should already know. He was one of the 12 spies, right? He made the right choice, but he was one of 12. And he's sending against spies. Did you see what happened there in the between? Why was Joshua sending spies? But he sent spies not for the purpose of to know if to go or not. He sent spies to know the morale of the people in the land of Israel. How, if they are strong or they are afraid. It was more a detail to know how easy it's going to go.
And strategic.
Kind of. Because there's not much strategic there either. By the end of the story, the only thing they brought back is the land is yours. Everybody's afraid to death. That made it easier for the Jews to enter the land. And let's start to read a little bit from inside, and we'll try to find our way inside into the Haftorah. Page 1193, number 1.
And Joshua the son of Nun sent 2 spies secretly from Shittim, saying,
Shittim, let's stop right here. Where's Shittim? What happened in Shittim?
Shittim is the wood.
I'll say Shittim, yeah. Okay, Jevud. But Shittim is the name of a place too. What happened in Shittim, Mark?
The only thing I think of that's similar to is Shem, but I don't think it's Shem.
Shem?
Shem. But I mean, wasn't there?
Shittim! What happened in Shittim? Something happened in Shittim.
The rape, Dinah?
No,
not too
no,
far.
that was-
That's in Shechem.
Slim.
Shechem. Huh?
No, I don't know.
What happened in Shittim?
That didn't have anything to do with where they fought the the Amorites?
Amorites, when they fought the Amorites, in what connection?
With the kings, the 2 kings.
You mean
Close, around this
Og?
neighborhood.
Or-
Around this neighborhood in the Torah.
Shittim is in Israel, right?
Shittim is not in Israel.
No.
Okay.
Shittim is outside of Israel.
That's not, they were with that harlot, the Rahav?
That's here. That's
That's
this part. That's this
That's here.
Haftorah.
That's coming
No,
up.
that's coming up. That's the Haftorah. That's in the prophets. What happened in the Torah in Shittim? What happened in Shittim? You know it. You just don't know that it happened in Shittim.
Is that when the Jews were attacked leaving Israel, or
That's
leaving
Amalekite?
Egypt?
No, it was later. Shittim story was later. Later. Something bad happened in Shittim.
Yeah,
We'll read it in a few weeks from now.
Not in the Midianites, no?
Yes. What Midianites?
The prophet, what's his name?
Bill?
Yeah, Bilam.
Bilam.
What happened? Yeah.
Oh, they take the girls. The girls.
Yeah.
to
The
come in.
girls' prostitution and they worship idols. Look on page 797. One girl is saving gold for us.
Okay, for that.
Chapter 25.
Israel was, yeah.
Israel was staying in Shittim when the people began to behave immorally with the Moabite girls. The girls invited the people to throw their religious sect to.
And then what happened? The problem was not only they were running around with the Midianite girls. The biggest problem was that the Midianite girls forced them
Forced
to
them to
worship
worship
idols. That they worshipped idols in the beginning of the 4 years, the golden calf. By the end of the 4 years, they did the same thing again. The new generation did the same thing. Here is Joshua sending 2 spies from the Shittim. And they fixed the small immoral behavior. As you're going to learn, they went to a prostitute. And they didn't do it. They fixed. So a tikkun to the sin of the Shittim. Everything's written in the Torah, in the Bible. There is a reason why they wrote from where he sent it, because it makes a difference. Okay, continue in the first line of the Haftorah, 1193.
Okay. Saying, go view the land, especially Jericho. And they went and came to the house of the harlot named Rahab, and lodged there.
Okay, you're going to spy the land. Why they went to a house of harlot?
It's a good informational center.
This is true.
Sort of pillow talk.
They must have known they could pay her off and she'd do whatever they wanted.
Not because in a harlot's house, nobody asks questions who you are. You don't have to show your identity. You understand?
Right.
Everybody comes in, everybody goes out, you can hear from people. Everybody goes there, you can get from here information, what do you want. It's a good place. Later we'll learn more than that. Go ahead.
How did they know she wasn't gonna, or somebody there wasn't gonna turn him in?
Well, someone
This is
does.
true. Somebody does. He's right. And later we learn that the walls, she used to live by the border,
Right.
by the wall, by the big wall. Then, that was the easiest way to go in, basically. They went to Rochav. Two spies. He sent them to spy the land. They go to the house of the Shine. Go ahead. You want to continue, Mark?
And it was reported to the king of Jericho, behold, men have come here tonight from the children of Israel to search out the land.
Right away, somebody there knew right away. It was right away reported. Before they had time to move, it was already reported to the king of Jericho.
Then the king of Jericho sent to Rahab, saying, bring out the men who came to you, entered your house, because they have come to search out the whole land.
Yeah, she said they demanded the people. Where in the Bible we have a story of demanding the people?
Oh, and Lot,
Sodom.
is it Sodom and Gomorrah?
It's not far from the same place.
Really?
Let's see how Rachav. Let's see, Lot was ready to give away his daughters. Rachav was not so holy as Lot, right? She wasn't Abraham's niece or cousin. Niece, he was his nephew. She behaved differently. But
But the woman took the two men and hid them. And she said, yes, the men came to me, but I did not know where they were from. And at dark as the gates were about to close, the men went away. I do not know where they went. Pursue them quickly, for you will overtake them.
she made a brilliant move. She took him upstairs on the roof, hid them, and then said, yeah, they were here, they just left. Run after them, quick. She got rid of this, and meanwhile she was buying time to save the two guys.
Anybody here ever notice the parallel with Sound of Music? Remember the scene where the nuns hide the family?
Oh,
Whatever. I always thought that this was kind of based on this thread.
Pulled the distributor apart. Forgive it, Father.
It's a musical.
Yeah, famous
Musical.
musical.
What's the name of it?
The Sound of Music.
The Sound of Music. Shine.
That's for sure.
I don't know the story.
That's for sure.
Okay, continue.
But she had taken them up to the roof and hidden them with the stalks of flax which she had spread out there. So the men pursued them along the way to the Jordan as far as the fords, and as soon as the pursuers went out, the gate was shut.
Okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Before they lay down, she went up to them on the roof.
Okay. Then she hid them on what? On stacks of flax. Can cover them, and the men run away. She hid them on the roof. Okay, she said to the men.
She said to the men, I know that God has given you the land, and that the fear of you has fallen upon us, and all the inhabitants of the land melt with terror because of you. For we heard how God dried up the water of the Red Sea before you when you came out of Egypt, and what you did to the two kings of the Amorites who were beyond the Jordan, to Sihon and Og, whom you utterly destroyed.
Oh wow, look what this harlot knows much more than we think. She gave them a whole lecture. The splitting of the sea was 4 years before that. It wasn't 2 weeks ago. She told them, we still remember that we are still afraid. The whole nation is afraid of you. Because of, sometimes when you're in the Jewish people, you don't realize the effect that you have on another place, another people. You needed to hear from a stranger, what is your effect? Says, we are all scared to death from the miracle of the splitting of the sea. She had to kind of educate the Jews how effective the miracles were. And on top of it, what you did to the two kings, the Amorite kings, Sihon and Og, the two giants. Obviously, she was an educated person, and she knew much more than people were thinking that she knew. And she also realize who her people are and who the Jewish people are. That's the Chiddush. She realized that the Jewish people are the moral people who believe in God, and even she was an harlot because she was pushed into this job. Nobody is taking this job willingly, no matter what everybody says. The reality is a normal human being doesn't go there. But she looked at her own society, she said, this is a corrupted society. It's a society who doesn't care for the poor and therefore she had to reach to such a level to support her family. How we know that she supported her family? Because she cared for her family. Because she told them later, I want you to save my family. That she bid on the other side. She says, you're on the right side, I will help you. Naturally, she would turn in the man. And by this, get from the king some more treatment, maybe a better job, maybe money, maybe whatever it is. Here she went against everything and everybody.
Is she a symbol of the corruption of the society? That's why they picked a prostitute, basically.
Maybe, but also maybe, we learned not long ago about the four Metzoraim, what is called the Metzora.
Lepers.
The four leopards, remember? Who were outside of the city, and it was a famine in in Shomron, and they came and they told the king that there is food on the other side, and they brought redemption. I think that's what God wants to teach us.
She's more of a precursor of the righteous Gentile.
First of all, she's a righteous Gentile. The first righteous Gentile was much before it was Pharaoh's daughter.
Right.
The first official righteous Gentile. Don't take away from her the official title. Number one. But number two, she is. But the lesson is that God decides how He's going to bring the redemption to the Jewish people. We don't tell God, if it's this person, if it's a leopard, I don't want a redemption. By a prostitute, I'm not going to listen. God wants to show that there is a Talmudic statement, there is no person who doesn't have a time. Every person has his moment. She, in her moment, she made the right choice. She saved the Jewish people.
It reminds me of Ruth.
Yeah, but Ruth is not a surprise. Ruth is a more righteous woman. Here, God wants to show that, the interesting thing was the Entebbe, when they rescued the plane, then there were the Satmar Hasidim. The Rebbe was speaking about and said it was a huge miracle of God, one of the greatest miracles, and God shows us that He cares for the Jewish people and He protects them, and on and on. And the Satmar Hasidim, who don't believe in the state of Israel, accused the Rebbe, how could it be that God will make miracles through people who are not religious or don't believe in God? The Rebbe said, you don't decide for God how God will operate. First of all, who says that they're not believing in God? But let's say even, no matter what do you decide? Therefore, it's not a miracle because He did it. Oh, I'm not taking it. I'm not. We'll stay in Entebbe. If He would be in Entebbe, would He stay in Entebbe and say, "Oh, you Israelis, I'm not going with you"? But I think that's what the Torah wants to teach us. It could be leopards. It could be a prostitute. It could be anybody. God decides how is going to come, the miracle will come to you. The means and the vehicle is up to God. And that's also a lesson for us in general. Sometimes we think, oh, this job, this customer is going to make it. This job is going... Don't decide for God how to do it. Try here, try there. Works. How God is going to help you, leave it up for God.
Isn't Moshiach...
He might have a better agenda for you.
To the lepers? Isn't Moshiach?
Sheikh is a leper, that's a different story. What?
I was going to say that the sort of the story with Joseph, because he sort of puts a little too much effort into
But maybe you can say that Joseph, because of Potiphar's wife, he ended up in jail. Because he ended up in jail, he made the butler and the butcher. Therefore, he became the ruler of Egypt.
No, he does, but I mean, he put effort.
What I mean to say is, in Judaism, the beginning, when we see the salvation, we go back and we see where was the turning point of the Tzoras, and we say that was the beginning of the salvation. That, the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, in 1927, he was in Russia. He was jailed. 2 months later, he left Russia because basically, if not, they would kill him. Then the Rebbe, many years later, said the day that he was arrested, that was the beginning of the redemption. Because if not, he would never try to leave Russia. Then when you see and when you look back, the beginning of the trouble was the beginning of the solution. You understand what I'm saying? It looked like trouble, but the hand of God led it. The same thing is with Rachav. Rachav, she brings us the salvation. Then what does she continues to say in number 11? When we heard,
our hearts melted, and there was no courage remaining in any man because of you, for God your Lord. He is God in heaven above and on earth beneath. Now therefore, please swear to me by God, since I have shown your kindness, that you will also deal kindly with my father's house, and give me a true sign, and spare my father and mother, my brothers and sisters, and all that they have, and deliver our lives from death.
she said, I saved you, you saved me. She knows how to make a deal. Really, she was under mercy. They were each other's men. She knew very well when they leave, they can later ignore it, even if they promise. She said, swear me by God of Israel, by your God, that you're going to live up to your word. That no matter what she did, she was a person who believed in God.
Excuse me, her name, Rahav, that just means big, right?
Wide.
Is there a deeper meaning to her name? That's the name.
Just name. It's in some places it's written the word harlot is a matter of opinion. Some opinions say that zona could also mean she was an innkeeper. She was feeding people. Not necessarily she was an harlot. The word zonot and mezonot is the same word. Food. Say borem minei mezonot, right?
No, Zona I thought means prostitute.
Yeah, but it could also mean a feeder, somebody who feeds you.
Okay.
Because it's interesting. In many places in the Bible, it goes both ways.
They refer to Tamar, Judah, the story of Judah and Tamar, as he thought she was a Zona.
You're right.
Right.
There it means a prostitute.
Right.
But here it could mean that some commentaries said that she was an innkeeper. Not necessarily she was a prostitute. But no matter what. Okay, we are in number 16. No?
14?
Oh, 14, yeah.
Then the men answered her, our lives for yours. If you do not tell of our mission, we will deal kindly and truly with you when God gives us the land. Then she let them down by a cord through the window, for her house was on the side of the wall, so that she dwelt in the wall.
She lived on the wall. The Talmud says something very interesting. Talmud says, why she looks like she was a professional in sending out people on the windows. She had a string. Why? What do you think?
Smuggler?
She used to bring the many men who came to her came from the window, not from the main door. They were afraid. They were embarrassed. They came from the window. And she wasn't the first time she got men out in and out of the window.
Right.
Then she turned to God and she said, God, may it be an atonement. All the men that I brought in and out of the window, the same
Escape route.
coat, the same flags that I use for bad things, I want to use for good things. So this is really the concept of tshuva, is when you take the same type of behavior and you use it to save the lives of the two Jewish people. It says, God, with this you forgive me for what I did before.
Is there a significance to the fact that with the spies were 12, but there were only 2 that were good?
And here it's
And here is it only 2?
According to the Medrash, who were the two?
Caleb.
Caleb and Joshua.
No, not Joshua. Joshua sent them. No,
oh,
here,
these
here.
two.
Oh,
okay.
these two,
Here.
oh.
Who were the two?
I've known it before, but I don't know.
I don't know.
Pinchas,
Oh,
and I think Kolev. I think it was Kolev.
Caleb?
That's what
I think so, right?
I don't know, I
Caleb.
just guess.
I
The
think
Caleb, the
it's,
same
Caleb,
Caleb
yeah.
Same
that,
Caleb, yeah.
that was with Joshua in the
He had
Parshat.
a good report.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
He'd be the guy you'd want to send, right?
I thought that too.
Pinchas.
I think it was Pinchas and Kolev. I saw it. Yeah.
How's your Google?
I'm googling it. Yes.
Rabbi Google says.
Where is the? Yes, I'm looking. I saw it today, but I forgot. I think it was Pinchas.
Anybody got Siri here?
Okay. In any case, it was. I think it was Pinchas and Kolev. I don't see it here
I think you're
clearly.
right.
Huh?
I'm pretty sure you're right.
Yeah. In any case, yeah, it was the two, for sure the two, I mean, he saw the two came right with the right message. Obviously, it's enough to have two. We don't need 10. We don't need 12. But here is the deal. They told her, if you will not tell us, you will not give out the secret, that's the deal. Number 16. She said to them,
She said to them, "Go to the mountains, where the pursuers will meet you. Hide there 3 days until the pursuers return, and then you may go on
she
your
knew
way."
everything the system works. She told them wait for 3 days, and then she knew how long, when they'll give up. Go ahead, the man.
The men said to her, "We will be blameless of this oath which you have made us swear. Behold, when we come into the land, bind the scarlet cord in the window through which you will let us down, and bring into your house your father and mother, your brothers, and all your father's household. If anyone goes out of the doors of your house into the street, his blood will be on his own head, and we will be innocent." But if-
Okay, here, they speak a little stronger, they're already outside. You realize what's going on?
Sort of renegotiating the terms.
Defining it better.
She said, you save all my family. They said, no problem. They said, if you have them in one room, in your house, and a string around the window, then we'll save you. If not, too bad. And you're downstairs already. Can you go renegotiate the deal? Even they still need her, but it's also from a practical point of view. You cannot start to run around in every house and say, what's your name? What's your name? It doesn't work like this. And they needed everybody in one place.
But also, I mean, she was aware that there was gonna be, what they call the harem, the total ban, that when the Israelites came in, everyone would be destroyed.
You're right, sure they know about it. Therefore,
So-
to take this oath was a big thing.
Right, but that they had to kind of isolate.
You're absolutely,
in
absolutely,
the
you're right,
house.
you're right. Now, a scarlet cord, what does scarlet means?
Scarlet means
Red.
red.
Right.
The Hebrew is a very interesting expression. You will read in number 18, line number 18, here we come to the land, in Hebrew, Tikvat Chut Ashani, in the bottom of page 1195, I'm talking, go back one page. Tikvat Chut Ashani, one line from the bottom, in the Hebrew side. Tikvat Chut Ashani. Chut means cord. Shani means thread. What's tikvat?
Love, hope. Tikva is hope. Hope of.
Ah,
Hope of a
Tikva.
cord.
Tikva, yeah.
Hope of a cord red.
A red scarlet, red robe. Maybe this way people go around with the red thing on the arms.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that, wasn't it? Is that the
Red
connection?
ribbon.
Yeah, I
That's
thought
the
so.
national anthem.
I know, what means
What?
the tikva? The hope.
The hope, right, yeah.
Hope means the
Right,
tikva.
right.
But back in the temple, wasn't the red thread?
Yeah,
Yom
they didn't,
Kippur,
yeah,
wasn't
it wasn't
that-
called,
that was
yeah,
It was
the-
crimson.
but two and white, right?
Why?
The red represents sins, white represents pure.
Right.
And we're white ribbons, not red threads. It's a goyish thing, by the way. At the red business, yeah. It's not
Isn't Adom, is that just another version of red, another?
Adom is red, yeah.
So,
But in
Chubay
Bible,
Shani
Shani is
is
red.
red.
Yeah. But it's called tikva because that became the hope. The whole house was dependent on this thread, on this cord, on this red cord. Tikvat chut hashani can mean the thread also, but it's a word that is used for both, has two meanings. By the way, the word mikveh could also mean or the word kaveh from the word op. Understand? Same thing. Okay, what they told you. I'm sorry, I stopped you in the middle. Who is reading it?
It's okay.
Number 19. Top of page 1197, number 19. If anyone, the first line, by the end of the first line.
If anyone goes out of the doors of your house into the street, his blood will be on his own head, and we will be innocent. But if a hand is raised against anyone who is with you in the house, his blood will be on our head. Sounds like what's going on in Egypt with the firstborn.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. You go out, Damo Berosho, yes.
But if you tell of our mission, then we will be released from the oath which you made us swear.
Yes. He told them, anybody who's in the house will be saved. Anybody outside of the house, it's on his own.
Was there a
Okay.
connection between the scarlet and the blood on the doorpost?
Was also red.
Could be.
Maybe here it was on the window, that was on the door. That's a different. But maybe. She said,
Let it be according to your word. She sent them away, and they departed. And she hastened the scarlet cord in the window, or fastened the scarlet cord in the window. They departed and came to the mountains, and stayed there 3 days until the pursuers returned.
then what they did exactly? The two spies did nothing. They didn't go anywhere.
Because they got all the information there.
Yeah, they interviewed one person. They met one person in the whole city of Jericho. They went back home. That's what they did. Look when they come back. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The pursuers searched for them all along the way, but did not find them. Then the two men descended from the mountains and passed over and came to Joshua the son of Nun, and told him all that had happened to them.
Okay, what they said to him, that's the
They
main
said to
thing.
Joshua, truly God has delivered the whole land into our hands, and moreover, all the inhabitants of the land are scared to death of us.
The good news, they're all afraid of us. We can go and conquer the land, nothing to worry about.
How did they know they could trust Rahab with this? They, like you said, they interviewed one person. She gave them what they wanted to hear.
But one person
But-
who knows the mood of of all the people. She meets a lot of people. She has a sense what's going on. She sees the ministers. She sees the simple. She sees everybody.
Right. She really knows that God is bringing the Israelites in to conquer
No, but
the
she
land.
She's in a
knows
position
She's
to know,
in a
but how do they
position to
trust
see.
her, right.
She sees the cross section of society.
Exactly. Well, if you want to know what society thinks, you go to this type of a person because she knows. She sees every kind of people who tell her the truth. Because they're not afraid to tell the truth. They don't look at her as somebody who can report on them. All the secrets come out in such places.
Like today's hairdresser.
Right. But this is a
Like
good,
today's hairdresser.
Cab driver,
Yeah, you're right.
bartender.
You're right.
Someone does your hair, someone...
You're right. You tell them everything. You sit and you're right. You but the barber, people talk everything. All the secret goes down. The same thing was here.
but this is a complete contrast with the Parshat, when the spies go in under Moses, and they see themselves as grasshoppers. They
You're
have no
absolutely right.
confidence in
You're
themselves.
absolutely right.
Here, they don't even have to go in.
They-
Because
no, and
they
they-
have complete faith.
And they say, "Don't worry, they're a piece of cake for us." What I mean to say, it's all about an attitude,
Right.
faith of God, how you look at things.
But it's also, there seems to be in this story, a singularity. It's two people, one source, whereas when the spies go out, it's 12.
No,
and they're
for
getting
sure. First of all, they left
multiple-
Cheresh. Cheresh means quietly, silently. They came back, they spoke only to Joshua. They didn't make a meeting of the whole Jewish people. Hey, by the way, we have goodness for you. They were sent in a secret mission. They came back in a secret mission. They were spies. True spies of the true meaning of the word. And the only thing they bought, they wanted to know the morality of the people, because it doesn't make a difference how many tanks you have. It's the morality, the morale, how much excitement you have. Israel army is much smaller, but because they believed in their mission, because they had to believe in God, they won all the wars.
Right.
They were attacked by 100 million Arabs. They were nothing. And the same in 6 days war, every war.
But this is the next generation. 40 years later.
40.
They're ready. They're ready to go in.
This is a generation that Moses raised. You know, when the Rebbe became a Rebbe, he right away wanted to send out Chabad rabbis to different countries. He sent a couple to Brazil, and it didn't work out. After a few years, they came back. The Rebbe waited 10 years until he raised his own boys, and they went. That was a whole different story. You know, the same thing here, Moses said, he tried it first, and these guys from Egypt, forget about them, nothing will happen with them. We will stay in the desert, we'll raise another generation. Sometimes you need to have patience if you want to be successful. We'll raise a generation who believe in God, who have faith in Moses, who know that the land belongs to them. They will go, they will conquer the land. And that's what really happened there. Or there is here a higher level here that you can learn something more on the Hasidus. What is faith in God? When kicks in faith?
It's above your understanding logic.
Let's say, God forbid, a person is sick. As long as there is the doctors have a solution for him, he believes in God, but he say that he has pure faith in God, he believes also, he hopes that the doctors will help him. Nobody says that's wrong, but that's not pure faith. Pure faith is, as long as there is a red scarlet, there is something to hold on. When there is tikvat chut hashani, when there is a hope of the red robe, you hold on to the red robe, you're not holding on to pure faith. When the red robe is disappearing, the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe once spoke about that, and everything is gone, and there is no hope whatsoever, and then you have faith in God, that's true faith. And when a person has this level of faith itself opens a channel of new blessing that God should give him the miracle. See, as long as he's holding on to something, it's not pure faith. Then God says, oh, you want this should help you? Maybe, maybe not. But when a person says there is no hope, everybody gave up, no hope whatsoever, and he says, I'm sure God is going to save us. This alone awakes in God such a level of mercy that he could create a miracle.
So is Joshua, when he decides to send in the spies, is that pure faith?
No. He sent it because he wanted to know, he wanted information. He felt that he's obligated to go also in a natural way.
So it's a partnership with God in that.
Yes. But what you can learn from this story is that as long, let's say Rachav would lose the scarlet, the red robe would get lost. Now what? There's nothing to hold on to. No tikva. Do you still have faith in God that God will save you, or you don't have faith in God to save you? The highest and pure level of faith is when there is, everybody gives up, and there is no hope whatsoever, and you say, God will save me. This is true faith. This is a very high level of faith. I don't wish anybody to have to be tested by this. But this is the faith we're talking about.
Like Abraham and the sacrifice of Isaac.
Abraham didn't plan to be saved.
Pure faith?
Abraham did not plan to be saved. This is when Abraham was in the furnace, maybe.
Maybe if you look at Isaac, from Isaac's perspective, that may have
Isaac
been
was
pure
ready
faith.
to be sacrificed. Isaac was not looking for a miracle.
Yeah, but he was ready to sacrifice his own.
Yeah, but he
his
was
son.
not ready. He was not waiting for miracles. He didn't want to be. He didn't pray to God to be saved.
He
So God-
had total faith that his son would be saved. And he-
No,
No.
not at
No.
all. No.
I don't know, but I mean,
Oh, no, he just had total faith.
he had
He had total faith that this is the will of God, and therefore he's going to do it.
Right.
What will happen? It was not his business. He was ready to sacrifice his son completely.
Right, right.
Exactly.
You can say that in
I mean, God told Abraham this is going to be the continuation of Judaism
I know.
in Isaac.
I know where you're
Okay,
going.
he was promising him for years
It was a
and
test.
I know.
It was a
years,
test.
time and again, and then.
But
he
then God
said,
tells him to go sacrifice him.
It's just if that's not an act of pure faith,
Maybe.
then what is?
No, the sacrificing is an act of pure faith, but he didn't have faith of saving Isaac. That was not the faith. You understand?
That God would save, that God would
No,
come
no,
through
no.
on His promise.
God will come to on his promise. How? That's up to God. Not by saving Isaac necessarily.
Could have been some other vehicle.
Well, there wouldn't have been any Jewish people.
Or it would be maybe Abraham will have another son.
Right.
Exactly.
Which he did.
Or he could have been resurrected.
Egypt.
No, I mean,
Or he
this
can be
is-
resurrected.
Yeah.
There is stories of resurrections in the Bible.
Right,
Elisha resurrected son.
yeah.
Stories of resurrection. There is even in the Talmud stories of resurrection. I hear what you say. He had faith. And there you can say, but it wasn't faith that somehow Isaac would be saved. Because if he would go with this agenda, it wouldn't be a pure sacrifice. You understand what I'm
That
saying?
he loves God more than he loves his son.
Because he loves God, he's ready to sacrifice his son, not because he doesn't love his son.
Right, right. But he,
But that was his faith. But his faith was not to believe that somehow Isaac would be saved. If he would have this thinking, that wouldn't be a pure sacrifice at all. God says, I don't need you. If you're planning on saving Isaac, I don't need you. We need the people who are ready to go all the way. In any case, Rachav, what happened to Rachav?
Didn't
She converts,
Joshua
yeah.
marry her?
She converted. She joined the Jewish people, and Joshua married her.
Is there then a connection somehow between Rahav and Messiah?
And 8
Yeah.
prophets came out
never
from the
happened.
descendants of Rachav and Joshua.
where is
Joshua and Rachav had only girls, first of all. Anybody complains that he has only girls? I always tell them, not only Rashi had only girls, Joshua had only girls too. Nicht gefährlich. Not such a tragedy. I have a brother, my sister has like 6 girls. 5 or 6 girls. And it's going the right direction. then Rachav, and they had only girls, but from this union came out 8 prophets, eventually, from Jeremiah's generation, by the time of the destruction of the temple. Huldah the prophet, and other, and the Talmud brings a whole list of names.
Do we get any connection to the Mashiach there somehow?
The Mashiach from Ephraim,
That was David.
from Joseph.
Perez.
No, because it's written that Mashiach will be from
Judah.
That was the
from
David.
Joseph and Judah together, like a
Yeah.
combination.
Do we get the Mashiach ben Yosef from this?
Maybe
question?
Moshiach ben Yosef is from there. We don't know. Maybe it's like a root in David, Rachav and Joshua. I don't know everything.
You know, I read an interesting commentary
Yeah.
by Jonathan Sachs
Yeah,
on the Parshat,
yeah.
and he quotes the Rebbe,
Go ahead.
Schneerson, that the spies, the scouts, were not afraid of failure. They were afraid of success. And what does that mean? In other words, they were afraid of having to go into the land. The
And then,
reality of having to live in a real space and make a living and deal with the
and
real
losing
world.
their spirituality.
Right, because in the wilderness, God's presence was always there. They were given everything. It was like a welfare state.
It was like being in college.
Sign me up.
And God wanted them to graduate, and they didn't want to graduate.
Right.
You know, the guys who go to graduate school, and then to go to another graduate school, and
Graduate
they want to get a PhD and anything not to go to real life.
Right.
That was the spice. You're right.
Right.
But you see, there is many reasons that we attach to the spies. A whole nation didn't want to enter the land of Israel. Some of them were just afraid. Some of them wanted to have Moses with them. Some of them knew that Moses is going to die. They didn't want Moses to die. And that's what the Rebbe says. They wanted to stay with Moses. It's like crazy going to Israel. Yes. If I would be there and I would know that Moses dies, I want my Rebbe. I don't care Israel. What is Israel? Sit in the desert, learn Torah. You have to be crazy not to do it. But that's what Hashem wants. Hashem wants you to go to Israel. You see, every Chabad rabbi, when the Rebbe was alive, had the same dilemma that the spies had. Because the Rebbe wanted the Hasidim to go out to spread Judaism, but they wanted to be in New York. They all wanted to be by the Rebbe. Then for a guy to leave New York before the holidays, when everybody from all over the world is coming to the Rebbe, he's leaving. They don't look at you. Where are you going? I know about a Chabad rabbi. He says that he was standing and he was ready taking his taxi to take him to the airport. He was standing very sad because it was like right before the holidays. Everybody's coming and he's leaving. And the Rebbe secretary passed by, was an older man, and he saw him. He's standing like this. Walked into the Rebbe. A minute later, the Rebbe calls him in and gives him a blessing and a smile. Told him, "Go and be happy. It'll be good." Because he saw, it's like, you know, everybody goes this direction. You're the only one driving the other direction. That was the dilemma. On one hand, the Rebbe wants to conquer the world, bring Judaism to every place. But the spies, they want to sit with Moses. They don't want to go. That as long as it's a desire and you sit in the shul and talk about it, it's nice. But when you come and you turn around the whole nation against God, oh, you're in big trouble. And that's what we have to learn.
Different than a soul departing from God to come down to this earth.
The same
He doesn't
thing.
want it.
The same thing, you're right.